Welcome to Attacking on Breeze. We're going to take a look at A, mid, and B. I'm going to show you some quick executes and how you can have confidence when working as KO. For those who aren't able to stick around too long, here's the TLDR, A site. Here's what it looks like. Here's the TLDR for middle, clearing out lanes for your teammates, playing support, and being able to push the doors with the flashes and a nade for the mid tunnels. And then for B, we have a lineup for clearing the left corner. Also, a nade for the long angle and some flashes that you can utilize to clear some corners. Alright, let's jump into it. For those that were able to stick around, we're going to jump on A right away. I have a Dagger lineup for hulls. A second Dagger is right here at the orb for anybody pushing. And then the last Dagger is for an operator or anti-jet, anti-chamber here. There's usually somebody opping or playing a long angle rifle. So I want to be able to push them out of this corner. So for the Dagger, it's really simple. You just want to do a lineup. You just aim at this line here. I usually just aim it right here with this. And then I toss it over. What this does is it'll go through the doors. It'll let you know if somebody's playing on the bridge or if you got somebody playing deep, maybe sniping or playing with the Guardian through the halls here. And the second Dagger is right when the round starts, you want to toss this and hit right into the shop. This clears out this corner, but also in case anybody is aggressive and they want to push here. If you do hit somebody and suppress, you always want to make sure to clear this box here because maybe they pushed up and they're hiding in this corner. So right in the beginning of the round, right away, I'll toss this Dagger. It clears off the left side here and just makes sure that no one is playing this close corner. And then for the anti-jet, anti-chamber Dagger, it's a lineup you can do early round. You just want to hug yourself up against this wall and toss it over. I'll show you how this lineup looks, but I just want to show you what the Dagger looks like first. It lands on the front side and clears out this left corner or lets you know if somebody's sitting here. Most of the times, if they're opping here and they get hit, it's more risky to hold this angle without a sure way of escaping. This is one of the most powerful angles on Breeze, and because you can strafe past this mound here, you can go left and right. And so what's great about this Dagger is it lands on the other side of the mound. So if it is destroyed, you know that somebody is on the front side of this mound. Either they're close or they're on the left side because they're able to kill it. And this person, if they're playing a bit defensive, they will be moved off. It's a very easy lineup. You just hug this wall here, face it. You aim up. If you see this little box square here, you just line up your nade UI in there. See how easy that is? So it's really quick. You just get to this wall, aim up, line the nade UI, toss it over, and it lands right here at the front of the mound. And as you see, it clears all the right side here, and if there's an aggressive jet or chamber, hopefully it pushes them off a little bit, or it changes their angle. Sometimes a jet or a chamber might sit on top, and at least this lets you know that they're here. So with the flash, it's important to note that the three main lanes of A are here, here, and here. But remember that you're not going to be executing on your own. You'll most likely have like a Viper, you'll most likely have a Brim or some sort of smoker to block off some of these lanes. And so a Viper common wall is like across here. And so you're really just fighting this one lane on the right and the corner on the left as you're executing onto the site. And so here's how you play a flash. You want to make sure you pair it up with your Dagger. If you Dagger to the left here and you don't see anybody here, that's great. If you do the Dagger lineup on the mound and you see that there's somebody opping, gives you great information to determine how do you throw your flashes. The first flash we're going to focus on is a one-way for the person who's holding this long angle, usually with an operator. You want to toss it as low as you can on the hill here and it'll roll off into the water and become a one-way flash. And where it hits here is right here in the water, but anybody holding this position, it'll land right in their crosshairs. They're going to have to pull off this angle. They're going to have to turn around or concede it, or they're going to get flashed. They're going to have to back off for a little bit. So this gives you a little bit more access to pushing, a little bit more map control here as you go into the entrance. So you just aim it at the low part of this little hill here and toss it, and it lands on. You can peek with it as it pushes the person off. So the other angle you're going to have to worry about clearing is this short left one. You threw the one for the mountain to suppress somebody, and then you throw the flash, you aim there. Or say, for example, you threw the early Dagger for shop. It all just depends on where you threw your dagger, the information you gathered, and how to play off it with the flash. The second flash is for a one-way over the mounds, and so what you want to do is either the left or the right one, depending on how the game is being played, whether it's an operator on the right or they're playing somebody with a long range on the stairs, which is usually very common. I'll just throw a one-way flash over one of these mounds here before I'm being seen. I just aim up here at this line, and you just kind of run and toss it over. And it creates a one-way and it lands right on the other side of clear up anybody sitting on the stairs here. This angle, it's very common for somebody to sit here, try to get a headshot. So it lands right here, right above to their left. They're going to have to concede this angle, go down a little bit, aim to the right, or otherwise they're going to get flashed. So once again, that flash looks kind of like this. Allows you to peek out a little bit more and your teammates to enter with you from the right side as it flashes anybody holding this long angle. Now, if you believe that somebody's closer to the left here, usually a sky or some flasher, I'll throw it right onto the mound and I'll hit it and it'll bounce off in a diagonal way. And this clears the box here on the left. Usually it's smoked, and if it's not, this gives you a good entryway into the site. And so, just to kind of recap, here are the flashes, the one on the hill for the operator, the one way behind the mound for the stairs, and bouncing it off the triangle here, the mound, to flash anybody at the doors. Alright, and we're going to jump to the nade next. Alright, now for the nade, there's just 3 simple spots to clear up some corners. That's what I usually like to do with my nade. The first one is to clear out the left corner. We've got the one on the water, and then the anti-operator one. And so they're very simple, very easy, but you play it off of your dagger depending on where you find some information. So for the first one here, you want to just make sure that when you're lining up and you're pushing, you just run up ahead and you throw it up against this wall here. You see this line? You want to make sure it's over the line here. Run over and toss it up. It clears off both of these corners here, and that's the reason why you want to throw it high. So here's an example. If you throw it low, it doesn't clear off, and they can still hide in these corners and not die, and it won't push them off. So just remember, you have to throw it above this line. Throw it high. The higher, the better. So, say for example, you throw a dagger, you see that somebody's there, throw a high nade, your teammates can hold an off angle here, make sure that they can't run away as the nade is killing them. So for the next nade, it's really simple. This is a very common angle held by players who have a flash or a smoke, mainly like a jet. They can shoot, flash, they can smoke their way out. Flash. So it's very simple. You just want to line up your cursor at the top of this box here and just kind of like move forward and toss it at the same time, and it'll land right in the corner. Very simple, very easy. And then for the last one, we have a nade for the anti-operator position. So we're going to throw it into that land right here. It's not going to push them completely off if they want to sit in it. You know, you can pair it up with a dagger to like let you know if somebody's there, but it's also super simple. You're safe here in this corner. They're not gonna be able to see you. So when aim up at this line at the very top of this like white box up here above the grass, run and throw it as hard as you can, and it'll bounce off and land right here at this corner. This will give your team about a good 4 seconds to execute, put the smokes up. If there's a viper wall, it'll be really great. You say, okay, I'm gonna toss the nade. You run, you toss it over, you flash it, they put wall up, and boom, this is an execute right here. Very, very easy to work with your team with this type of utility. Alright, so that's for A, and we're gonna head over to the mid next. So for the mid dagger, it's really simple. There's one supporting your team on B, and there's an aggressive one on A for yourself. So it depends on how you want to play this. So if you want to push or if you want to play support. So the first one is you just want to throw it up at this wall. Make sure it hits here. It will catch anybody who's playing early aggression, especially if your team is pushing the tunnels on B. It'll land on this wall here, and it'll let them know, okay, somebody's going to be in this vicinity here. Watch out, be careful. You got somebody coming to your right. So this is really a support dagger to play with your team. There's a lot of room for error, so like if you throw it to the left a little bit, that's fine. It hits this corner, clears more, it's fine. And then the second one is somebody who's playing aggressive on the defending side, and you want to make sure you catch them off this double doors. You just kind of aim up here at the top of this little box area and toss it. It'll let you know if, you know, sometimes like a jet or a chamber pushes this with an op or an aggressive angle. And that's it. So the flashes, I usually pair these up with the dagger, but here's what they look like. So one is a one-way for the double doors. You just throw it over here. It lands over the side. Another one is over the middle tower here, just flashing anybody in the halls, maybe mid-tunnels or the nest. And then finally, if I'm pushing into the doors, I'll throw one over this box here for anybody who's holding this angle. Sometimes people will hold the double doors from the mid. So as I said, I'll play it off my dagger. If I throw this here into the short and I catch somebody and I want to flash for my teammates, I'll just toss it over this box here and it lands right here, making sure that if they're playing early aggression, hopefully it pulls them off or gives my teammates a better shot in this one-on-one. And then next, if I'm pushing double doors and I want to throw this dagger, if I hit somebody with this double doors dagger, I'll follow it up with a flash over this just to push them back and so they don't get that angle on me. And that's pretty much all I have for flashes. I just have one nade lineup here to push with the flashes to help you get into the double doors. Just kind of hug against this wall as you're clearing corners. You want to make sure you clean the short corners, but you don't want to be seen from the nest, so you just kind of want to line up where the second window is with the box. You know, make sure that no one is peeking you, and then you kind of aim above here, and you'll see there's like this mossy little area against this wall. On the left, there's an opening. You just aim here at the opening, and you just kind of do a little run and toss. It bounces into the mid tunnels and clears off this lane, or they'll either have to push off or concede it. It allows you to either get a good angle on them, or, you know, if they back off, then you'll be able to get through the double doors. So it's a really nice combination of utilizing a flash and a molly to get yourself into a better position for the enemy. So here's what that might look like. So, you know, you kind of hug up against this, you clear up the corners, you just make sure you're not seen from the nest. You throw the nade over, lands, you throw the flash, you execute onto A. And next we're going to jump onto B. Now it's important to note on B site that even though it's a pretty large site, one dagger into the center of the site will be able to reveal or suppress anybody who's sitting in like any one of these four corners, like here and then like this corner. So if you threw a dagger into the center, it would collect a lot of information for you. So as a general rule of thumb, when you're entering B site, because there's not any long lanes, tossing it into the center will capture the most amount of area. You can get the most amount of suppression for any agent who's hiding. But the thing is that it doesn't give you accurate amount of information. So if you do hit this tower in the center, it does cover a ton of information, but it doesn't tell you where the person's going to be. And so for me, I like to have really accurate information. I'll throw it at the box over here. I'll throw it at the half wall. I'll throw it at the close left corner or the right corner because I like having accurate information of where the agent might be and suppressing them. However, if you're playing against like a Sentinel, Killjoy, or Cypher, it might be better to just hit it in the center and try to get them. So here's a dagger right here, throwing it to the right corner, but you clear the right corner, you know no one's gonna be sitting here, and then a Viper wall goes up, and then you know you don't have to focus on this spot. You can throw it at this wall here and it clears the left corner so you know that, okay, I only need to focus on these angles as I'm moving forward. So for me, daggers are about gathering accurate information so you can clear corners and clear angles and you know where you need to aim. So what I like to do is a simple lineup with lots of room for error. What you want to do is you get to the entrance here, you just kind of stand up against this wall here, aim your UI at this little arch, the black part of the arch with your flash grenade, right? Just like that. And so line up on the wall, aim the dagger, and this will clear out the left corner here on the side of the entrance so that as your team is executing, you'll know if somebody's going to be playing this close corner, you'll know if you need to flash. So once again, here's the lineup, here's where it hits, just so you know where it clears when you land on site. And now we're going to jump into flashes. So here's a quick look at the three flashes. One clears this left corner, the other one is a one-way, and a pop flash through smoke or a Viper wall to clear these closer corners. So for this first flash, you want to just make sure there's a little sliver here. As you can see, there's no room so you can't get shot. Toss it right on top of this little box here and it'll bounce right into the corner. This will make sure that whoever's in this corner has to concede or get flashed. They'll have to back off a little bit, but this is great to time perfectly as you're about to rush. The second flash is for the far box corner in the back here. You just want to aim at the tip of this wall here and toss it over as you're running through. What this does, it lands behind the wall and it lands behind the steps and it actually creates a one-way. So if you look here on this other side, it lands on the lowest part of the stairs. It doesn't flash you as you're coming in, but anybody holding this far back angle here at the stairs will get flashed, or that once again they'll have to kind of pull off this angle. And it's great for when you want to clear the right side. So once again, as you're tossing it, it is a one-way so you can push with the flash. I love this flash. This is one of my favorite ones that I'm executing. This is such a powerful lane. And then the last flash is if you want to clear something on the right or the left, based off of where your dagger is. If you clear the left side and no one's there, you want to flash to the right. And finally, some of my favorite flashes are when you're actually on site. This back wall here you can leverage to do a bunch of one-ways. I really love it. And lastly, for the nade, I don't have any lineups, but similar with pushing A, I like to use my nades to clear off angles, and so here are the most common places I'll throw my nade just to make sure that I can focus on a different lane as I'm pushing to the site. I'll either do the stairs, or I'll do this left corner, or a very common spot with the flash is right behind the tower. So just make sure that I'm clearing off lanes, so as I'm pushing through, there's less percentage of me getting shot from different spots. Bouncing it up the box, throwing it over the stairs. These are just very common spots so I can focus on a different corner. But what I really like to do is I like to keep my nade for when I'm on site. And the reason why is because this back wall is so powerful as KAYO. So to pair it up with like some pop flashes, if you just aim on top of the buildings here and you just throw it over while you're hugging the wall, it closes off a lane when the defenders are trying to do a retake. This helps you buy a lot of time, but it also pushes the enemies into a lane of your liking. I hope this gives you a little bit of confidence as you're pushing into B, giving you a strategy to work behind. Well, that's all I have for Breeze. I hope that this guide gives you some confidence or some ideas on how to strategize or execute on Breeze when you're KAYO. Thanks so much for watching, especially if you stuck around to the very end. I'm so grateful for that. If you like what you saw, please don't forget to like and subscribe. And let me know if there's any other videos or maps that you'd like to see a guide for. Thanks again, and I hope to see you soon. Have a good day.